Tonight, a very special PechaKucha, when rice attacks. Rice monsters, people, they're out there. The threat is real, and I'm going to help you learn how to deal with them. Now, I know this might sound strange. Rice is white, it's fluffy, it's nutritious, it's nice, but trust me, there's a dark side to this food as well. A little background, I am the co-author of a book called Yokai Attack, the Japanese Monster Survival Guide. And it is exactly what it says, a guide to surviving encounters with monsters, yokai, from Japanese folklore. And when I was asked to come here for this particular presentation, a couple years ago, I presented about the kappa. This is the most famous Japanese yokai, and it hungers for two things, cucumbers and human colon meat. And I'll just cut to the chase. If you missed the last presentation, throw it a cucumber if you want to save your colon. This is the kappa, very, very famous yokai. When I was asked to come this time, I was asked, let's talk about a yokai, a monster, rice monster. And I really had to rack my brains about this because in Japan, rice is holy. It's a sacrament. This is a shrine, the Izumo shrine, and those ropes that you see in front of shrines, shimenawa, are often made from braided rice straw. This is another example of holy rice. This is rice that's been given by people who live near a shrine as offerings. This is also in the Izumo area of Japan. So you can see rice is a pretty holy thing. So what's the dark side? Where's the negative aspect come in? We're going to get to that in just a moment. Here. Dorotabo, literally rice paddy boy. I had to really search through the literature for this guy. As you can see, he's a mud monster rising up out of rice paddies, raising those little clawed hands to the air in a single eye and screaming all night long. Now, let me give you a little background here. Yokai, as I said earlier, are monsters from Japanese folklore. They come in many shapes and sizes. Some are humanoid, some animals, some look like the monsters you'd expect Japanese monsters to look like. And Rice Paddy Boy slots nicely into this wide menagerie of monsters. But where do all these monsters come from? Why does Japan have this crazy focus on monsters? Well, it's really not so crazy. If you go look around on the street, you'll see things like these anthropomorphic characters. I just randomly picked these up on the way here. All sorts of anthropomorphic characters. Look at this, Mr. House, Mr. Wave. Okay, so why do Japanese people create these anthropomorphic characters? There's one big reason. Japan is a polytheistic country. There's not just one god here. There's literally 8 million gods here. Yaoyorozu no kamigami, as the Japanese say. There is also a tradition of animism, the belief that a spirit can reside even in physical objects, such as these eyeglasses here. This is a shrine that I found in Ueno Park, a shrine of thanks. Japan also has a very long storytelling tradition. This is a page from Genji Monogatari, the tale of Genji, 1,000 years ago. So you have animism and polytheism, you have storytelling, and you get all sorts of great monster stories, one of which I'm going to tell you right now. Now, as you may or may not know, rice farming is back-breaking work. So let's pretend several hundred years ago you're a rice farmer who spent his entire life making a little plot that can support his family. You've dug out the mud, you've done all the work you can, and then as things happen, you come to the end of your lifespan. And when you pass away, you give your rice field to your son, who's supposed to work it like this, but unfortunately he's a drunken idiot and never tills the rice fields. And he lets them go fallow, and all that work you put in during your life was for naught. So what are you going to do? You're a ghost, you're angry at your son for leaving your rice fields fallow. Well, if you're in Japan, the answer is simple. You come back as Rice Paddy Boy. Here is the first illustration of Rice Paddy Boy, 1777, Toriyama Sekien. This is his first known sighting, and you can see his single eye, his creepy, creepy claws, and the fact that he is basically a mud zombie coming out of a fallow, not particularly well-tended rice field. He actually comes from an idiom in Japanese that isn't used anymore. This is an Edo-era idiom, Dorotao Bodeutsu, which literally means sticking your pole in the rice paddy, which sure sounds like a euphemism for something, but it is not. It means just messing around, screwing around, wasting your time. So what Sekien, the guy from 1777, did was he took this phrase and turned it into a monster by swapping the pole for boy, thus resulting in Dorotabo, the rice paddy boy. Only in Japan, really. It's one of the most beautiful and amazing things I've found in my survey of the Japanese monster kingdom. He actually is quite popular here. This is a 1968 film appearance from a great, great, great movie called Yokai Monsters, 100 Monsters, a Daiei film from 1968. Please rent and watch it. You'll learn many, many things. But there's Rice Boy. He's hanging out there in his full cyclopean glory. Here, believe it or not, is an action figure of Dorotabo, released just last year. Suitable for playing with in wherever you play with your action figures. Bedroom, maybe that's just me. Forget that part. But anyway, available at a fine retailer near you, the Dorotabo action figure. But how popular is Dorotabo? He's so popular that there's a statue of him in Sakai Minato, down in Tottori Prefecture. This is done in the style of Mizuki Shigeru, the manga artist who is most closely associated with yokai in Japan, and this is his birthplace, and many yokai statues are there, including one of our buddy Rice Paddy Boy. There he is. Look at those little coins given to his fingers. Now, I promised at the beginning of this that I would make this a survival guide, that I would tell you how to survive when you encounter Rice Paddy Boy in the wild, and I'm going to do just that. First of all, it's important to know he doesn't really attack you. He just shows up in the middle of the night and screams and screams. So what do you do? What do you do when you have this screaming Mimi? You get a pair of earplugs. Sorry, that's all you can do. That's what you get for leaving your rice fields fallow. In fact, what are you guys even doing listening here? You should get out and start farming your rice field right now. If you do, maybe you won't be visited by Rice Paddy Boy. Thanks a lot.